This time, not only are we going to do our own shading, but we are going to do our own graphing. So we are going to take all of the inequalities from number 7 and put those into Desmos to help us graph. Here we are in Desmos, and I'm going to take a look at these inequalities one at a time. Y is less than -2. Notice that it's a dashed line and that our Y values are getting smaller because it's less than in the shaded region, so that pinkish red region. X is greater than -1. That's going to be a vertical line going through the point -1, and it's a dashed line as well. And we are shading to the right because our numbers get bigger as we go to the right. Greater than means bigger numbers. Our last one is Y is greater than 1/2 x minus 3. Remember, these are in slope-intercept form, so 1/2 is our slope and -3 is our intercept. And we can see that the green region has now come into play. And so looking at the three of them, you can see that there's a triangular area where all three overlap. I'm going to back this up one more time and watch as the blue comes in to make purple, making this square. And then finally, when the green cuts across, we get a triangle where all three overlap. Let's go ahead and transfer this information back to our notes. Here we are back in our notes, and I'm going to label this as equation 1, and then I'm going to label it on my graph. So I had Y less than or equal to -2. You can take a peek at Desmos if you need to, or just know that we need to go through a Y-intercept at -2, and we are going to shade below the line because it's a less than. So this is equation 1. Equation 2, we'll go ahead and do in blue, and that is x is greater than -1. And so that's going to be a line here at -1, again dashed because it's a less than, or sorry, a greater than, but not a greater than or equal to. And we want our shading to go towards the bigger numbers, so in this case, bigger x's. Again, you can take a peek back at Desmos if you need to. And then finally, our green equation was green in Desmos. We have Y is greater than 1/2 x minus 3. And so I'm going to start at -3, and for every one that I go up, I'm going to go over 2, up 1 over 2. Again, you can take a peek at Desmos if you need to in order to help you plot. A dashed line again because it's a greater than, and because it is a greater than, we also want to shade above. Here is shading above. That little triangular area that we saw, I'm going to go ahead and shade it in purple. It's this little area right here. Let me blow that up for you real quick. That area is our solution area. So we could label this as our solution area. Let's now take a look at problem number 8. Again, I'm going to use Desmos to help me visualize this, and then we'll come back and graph. So let's go over to Desmos. Here in Desmos, I've got my 3 inequalities, and I'm going to bring them in one at a time. Y is greater than or equal to x minus 2. We're expecting a solid line, and we're expecting shading to be above it. And there we go. There's our kind of pinkish red. Bringing in the blue, we have y less than negative x plus 2. Dashed line because it's just a plain old less than, and the shading is down below, and now we have an overlapping area that is purple. We're going to want to pay attention to that purple area and how it gets broken up when we bring in our third inequality. Y is less than or equal to 4x plus 4. And now you can see that there is a darker kind of greenish shaded region where all 3 of those overlap. So we started with purple, and then we bring this one in, and so it's the area that was purple but cutting across with this green line. Let's go back and transfer this to our notes. Again, I'm going to label these as I go along. We'll use number 1 for the first equation here. And we have a y-intercept of -2 and a slope of 1. So we're going to be going up 1 over 1. I can get a few points in here. Again, you can use that Desmos line to help you. And we are going to plot a solid line because we have a greater than or equal to. And we also want to shade above that line where the y values would be getting bigger. So we're going to shade this side of the line. The second equation, number 2. Oops, so let me label number 1 there. This is 1. Number 2 is -x plus 2. So we're going to have a intercept here at +2, and we have a -1 slope, meaning that we're going down like this. And this time we're going to have a dashed line because we don't have that or equal to. So we're going to dash this line like this. It's a less than, so we need to shade below the line where the y values are getting smaller, and then label that as number 2. Finally, we're going to do the green line as number 3. This has a slope of 4, and it also has a y-intercept of 4. So I know I'm going to start here. Since I have a slope of 4, I would normally go up 4 and over to the right one, but I'm going to run out of graph if I do that. So I'm going to go down 4 and to the left one to give me a point, and down 4, left one to give me another point. This is going to be a solid line, and again, you could have used Desmos to help you to determine where that line went. All right, solid line, and we need to graph below it because of the less than or equal to. So we want our y values getting lower. We need this side of the line. And this is equation 3. Let's go ahead and shade the region where all of those overlap is our solution area. So we can label that.